Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Newshour, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour. Israel partially reopens Gaza's Rafah border crossing to Egypt as part of US President Trump's plan to end Gaza conflict. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian reportedly orders start of nuclear talks with the United States after President Trump expresses hope of a deal to avoid military action. Japan says rare earth found in sediment retrieved on deep sea mission. Tokyo calls mission world's first bid to tap deep sea rare earths at such depths. And Grammy Award for Tibetan spiritual leader Dalai Lama irks Beijing. Chinese Foreign Ministry calls award a tool for anti-China political manipulation. Israel reopened the border between Gaza and Egypt on Monday for a limited number of people on foot, allowing a small number of Palestinians to leave the enclave and some of those who escaped the war to return for the first time. Israel seized the border crossing in May 2024, about 9 months into the Gaza war that was brought to a tenuous halt by the October ceasefire brokered by US President Donald Trump. DD India's Raghav Kumar Jha has filed this report.
Palestinians have started to enter the Rafah border crossing between the Gaza Strip and Egypt after it reopened for the movement of people. The crossing has largely been closed since May 2024, when the Palestinian side was captured by Israeli forces. It is the sole route in or out for nearly all of Gaza residents. The closure of Rafah crossing cut off an important route for wounded and sick Palestinians to seek medical care outside Gaza, with only a few thousand allowed out for medical treatment in third countries by other routes through Israel over the past year. Reopening the crossing was one of the requirements under the first phase of Trump's broader plan to stop fighting between Israel and Hamas militants. In January, Trump declared the start of the second phase, meant to see the sides negotiate Gaza's future governance and reconstruction. Egyptian border officials informed that Rafah border crossing will admit 150 Palestinians into Egypt on Monday, comprised of 50 patients each, accompanied by 2 companions. And another 50 Palestinians will be allowed to enter Gaza. They will have to face stringent Israeli security checks. Those allowed to enter Gaza would be among the more than 100,000 Palestinians who had been able to escape the territory in the early months of the war. The EU foreign policy chief welcomed the reopening of the Rafah border crossing between Gaza and Egypt as a lifeline for sick and wounded Palestinians in the territory and a step forward in the peace plan. She said EU's civilian mission is on the ground to monitor crossing operations and support Palestinian border guards. Israel had previously tied Rafah's reopening to the return of the body of the last dead Israeli hostage in Gaza. His body was recovered and buried last week, prompting Israel to announce the phased reopening. Raghav Kumar Jha's report for DD India.
A rare moment of calm and optimism in Syria's northeast. Smiles, cheers, and a sense of relief has filled the air in Hasqa as government security forces entered the city, marking a new chapter under landmark integration deal with Kurdish authorities. Here's more in the report.
Happy faces and hopeful smiles. Residents of Al-Hasq welcome government forces as they cross a Kurdish checkpoint and enter the city under the newly agreed integration framework.
We all are one people. We are only demanding our rights and want nothing else.
A convoy of Syrian government security forces moved into the Kurdish-controlled city on Monday, deploying under a US-backed ceasefire that paves the way for Kurdish-run regions to be merged with Damascus. The forces are expected to be stationed at key state buildings inside Al-Husk's designated security zone.
They may be deployed in 3 or 4 military points after the tour they will do in the city. If the entry proceeds peacefully according to the agreement between the Syrian government and the Syrian Democratic Forces, additional forces will enter tomorrow morning, Tuesday, also consisting of about 15 or 20 vehicles belonging to the internal security forces. If things go, Syrian government will begin.
The move follows a comprehensive agreement reached on Friday to gradually integrate Kurdish military and civilian institutions into the Syrian state after months of tensions, sporadic clashes, and the recent handover of territory by Kurdish forces to advancing government troops. For now, Al-Husk is witnessing a rare sight. Cooperation is replacing confrontation, and cautious hope is taking root where conflict once loomed. Bureau Report, DD India.
Pakistan's restive Balochistan province has been rocked by a wave of coordinated attacks, triggering an intense security crackdown. Clashes between Baloch group and security forces have left scores dead, with major urban centers placed under heavy lockdown. The Baloch Liberation Army has claimed responsibility, while officials report significant casualties on all sides.
Pakistan's Balochistan province is witnessing a surge in violence amid an intensified security crackdown. Large parts of the province remain under heavy security, with restrictions on movement and public gatherings, as emergency measures have been imposed for several days. In Quetta, provincial capital, fierce clashes over the past 2 days have left a trail of destruction. Fighting between Baloch separatists and security forces has resulted in burnt vehicles, sealed off streets, and traffic disruptions due to security cordons. The Baloch Liberation Army claimed responsibility for the attack, saying it launched a coordinated operation dubbed Herof or Black Storm. Assaults were carried out almost simultaneously in Quetta, Gwadar, Mustang, and Noshki, targeting security installations, including a Frontier Corps headquarters, with reports of gunfight, attempted suicide bombings, and temporary road blockades. The group claimed it killed 84 security personnel and captured 18 others. However, the Chief Minister of Balochistan confirmed that at least 17 law enforcement personnel were killed.
17 of our law enforcement personnel, including police and one from the Navy, have made sacrifices. Our civilian casualties are 31, and some people are also injured. They want us to surrender. We will not. We are ready to fight this war for 1,000 years.
We will not. हम 1000 साल तक ये जंग लड़ेंगे.
Pakistan forces continue search operations following the coordinated attacks as the government vowed retaliation. Officials said more than 190 attackers. Several areas remain sealed, with troops combing affected locations. Balochistan, Pakistan's largest and poorest province, has faced a decade-long insurgency led by ethnic Baloch separatists seeking greater autonomy and control over natural resources. With Ravin Chauhan's report, Mohammad Absarul Hassan for DD India.
A Dhaka Special Court has sentenced former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to 10 years in prison in a corruption case linked to irregularities in the Purbachal New Town plot allocation project. The Anti-Corruption Commission said Hasina abused her authorities to illegally secure plots for herself and family members. The verdict adds to earlier rulings that have already handed Hasina 26 years imprisonment in other graft cases. Sheikh Hasina's niece, British MP Tulip Siddiq, also received a 4-year jail term, while 2 other relatives were sentenced to 7 years each. 18 others accused were also jailed for terms ranging from 2 to 10 years, along with fines. India's defence sector got a massive push with the allocation of 7.85 lakh crore rupees. From increase in capital expenditure to research, the budget aims to strengthen country's vision of self-reliance and developed India while bolstering its security. Watch this report.
Operation Sindoor has had a seminal impact on the budget announced for the defense services for FY 2026-27. The budget aligns with India's vision of Viksit Bharat at 2047 with a special focus on Atmanirbharta or self-reliance. The allocation has received a significant boom with 7.85 lakh crore rupees, an increase of 15.19% over budgetary estimates of FY 2025-26.
I propose to exempt basic customs duty on components and parts required for the manufacture of civilian training and other aircrafts. It is proposed to exempt basic customs duty on raw materials imported for the manufacture of parts of aircraft to be used in maintenance, repair, or overall requirements by units in the defense sector.
Out of the total allocation in this sector, a share of 27.95% has been kept for capital expenditure, which stands at 2,19,306.47 lakh crore rupees, a rise of 21.84%, more than the budget estimates of FY 2025-26. The provision will strengthen the government's resolve of modernizing, transforming India's armed forces and the goal of Atmanirbhar Bharat or Developed India. To further give a boost to India's self-reliance goals, a boost is given to the domestic industries by earmarking 1.39 lakh crore rupees, that's 75% of the capital acquisition budget, for procurement through domestic industries during the FY 2026-27. The budget allocation to Defence Research and Development Organization DRDO has also been increased to 29,100.25 crore rupees in FY 2026-27 from 26,816.82 crore rupees in FY 2025-26, and a share of rupees 17,250.25 crores is allocated for capital expenditure. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh lauded the union budget by expressing gratitude towards Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his visionary leadership, and said that Yuva Shakti-driven budget will further strengthen PM Modi's vision of an Atmanirbhar and Viksit Bharat.
बजट में रक्षा क्षेत्र के लिए 7.85 लाख करोड़ रुपए का प्रावधान किया गया है। मैं इसके लिए भी प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी का हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर की ऐतिहासिक सफलता के बाद आए इस बजट ने देश की रक्षा व्यवस्था को और मजबूत बनाने के हमारे संकल्प को सुदृढ़ किया है। यह आवंटन पिछले वर्ष की तुलना में 15% से भी अधिक है, यानी इस बार भी केंद्रीय बजट का सबसे बड़ा हिस्सा रक्षा मंत्रालय को मिला है।
The rise in India's defense budget is a testament to Bharat's strong emphasis on self-reliance and developed India. It also shows the country's growing trajectory in the tensed geopolitical world. Siddharth Bharadwaj's report for DD India.
All right, and joining us on the broadcast is Dr. D. Satish Reddy, former chairman, DRDO from Hyderabad. Hi, sir. Very good evening to you. Thank you so much, first of all, for joining in on DD India Newshour. If you look at the budget for defense sector this time, yes, sir. If you look at the budget, especially which is dedicated to the defense sector, it's a massive boom. How do you see this?
This is a major boost to the indigenous systems development and modernization of the armed forces in the country. The 7.85 lakh crores, which is more than about 1,04,000 crores more than the last year's budget, in fact, is a major jump. It is almost about 50. If you look at earlier, it used to be about 9%, 10%, and particularly this year it has been taken to 15%. And if you look at the capital total budget is 2.19 lakh crores. Out of that, 1.85 lakh crores is for the capital acquisitions. And out of that, 1.39 lakh crores has been earmarked for the domestic production. So this is a major boost to Atmanirbharta and self-reliance in the country. Even if you look at the revenue budget, out of the 3.65 lakh crores for the revenue, it's about 1.58 lakh crores for the operations and sustenance. It means training and whatnot, everything also is given a lot of importance. Look at the DRDO budget. 29,100 crores compared to whatever was it, 26,800 crores, almost about 2,300 crores more, close to about 9% extra compared to the last year. It's a major boost. In fact, if you look at 2014-13, what was the budget to now? It has become multifold, 3 times. And so this is a major boost to the indigenous systems development and modernization of the armed forces with most advanced systems development within the country and getting equipped with the armed forces.
Definitely. Also, sir, special focus this time has been given to the capital expenditure, which is rupees 2.19 lakh crore. How will this help when it comes to strengthening India's defense sector?
This is the capital budget is the one where actually you get most of the modern equipment, modern weapons and systems you acquire with primarily, as it is already mentioned, 1.39 lakh crores for the indigenous domestic production. So mostly from the domestic productions, and so you get equipped with the most modern equipment. And you have seen that a lot of equipment are being developed within the country. Whether you talk about light tank, or the ATACMS 155 artillery gun, or you look at the Visharad missile, what has been developed, or in the Republic Day parade, what has been displayed, the long-range anti-ship hypersonic missile, the hypersonic missile of its class in the world, which have been all developed, and these are all going to get acquired from the armed forces using the capital budget. And so that makes the armed forces more and more equipped with the most modern equipment, modern weapons. That's a major boost for the armed forces today.
Definitely.
And having seen the performance of the armed forces with indigenous weapons in the Operation Sindhu,
right,
has still much higher confidence in the circles, and so the government has put up so much hike in the budget, and we are all people in the defense system of the country, whether it is the R&D and the armed forces, are all thankful to the government for giving such importance to the defense of the country, and wherein it is almost about 14.6% of the overall budget and close to about 2% of the GDP is what it is given to the armed defense of the country.
Definitely.
Major boost.
In fact, it's a major boost, like we've been saying since the beginning of this conversation. You're also from DRDO, sir, and the budget allocated for it has been increased to rupees 29,100.25 crore. Your reaction and what more could be done in this domain?
Very happy to see that it's about 2,300 crores more than the last year budget, close to about now 30,000 crores is the budget of the DRDO. And it actually facilitates many things, many new systems development, whichever are the various systems which are getting developed, whether you talk about LCA Mark II or talking about advanced medium combat aircraft or various missile systems which are being developed, various other radars and torpedoes which are getting developed in the country, they all get a major boost. And also the industry. See, if actually DRDO spends, whatever it spends, almost 75% of it goes to the industry. The development contracts which go to the industry help the industry come up. So this is a major boost for the research and development in the country in the defense sector. And I'm sure that the new systems which are getting developed will have the enough resources, and the scientists will be able to develop the systems very quick now.
Indeed. And Operation Sindhur also, sir, showed the capability of our indigenous weapons. And today is the time when India is becoming exporter of weapons rather than just being the importer. Your views on that as well?
You have seen last year we have exported 23,666 crores worth of equipment. So we were the largest importers of defense equipment. It is a turnaround where we have turned and then we have exported to close to 23,666 crores. Honorable Defense Minister Rajnath Singh ji, he said make it 50,000 crores exports by 28-29. And I'm sure that we'll be able to do the type of equipment we are developing, the type of weapons we have developed. You see the last year, what are all the systems which have been developed, many systems.
Please tell us about them, sir. Please tell us about them.
You talk about VLS Assam, you talk about the lightweight tank, you talk about the Uttam radar, you talk about the torpedoes development, you talk about the anti-ship long-range missile, you're talking about long-range air-to-air missiles, and so many things which have been developed in the country. And that, if you look at the acquisitions also last year, it's about almost about 5 lakh crores events have been given. So there is a huge jump in the activities for acquiring these things and systems and development activities. So many systems are getting developed and so many systems are flight tested and so many systems are tested and user trials are going on. You look at anti-tank missiles like Vishara, Nagmark 2, Akash, if you look at Akash NG, so many systems which have come, is the radars on the aircrafts like Uttam radar and also radar for the Su-30, and many systems are getting developed today. We are getting self-reliant and we have become self-reliant in most of the areas. And now we are moving more and more towards advanced systems to develop first of its kind systems today in the country. See, today, country, we can confidently say that we are self-reliant in the areas of missiles, radars, sonars, torpedoes, airborne early warning systems, EW systems, armored vehicles, tanks, guns. All these things we have self-reliant today we are able to make. We could make even aircraft carrier in the country. So now the focus is on most advanced systems. Don't be second to anyone. You try to develop first of its kind systems. And so this type of a funding boosts the scientific community to develop such advanced systems. We are all very thankful to the government for giving such boost.
You're absolutely right. And you just mentioned self-reliance. I want to ask you, with India now manufacturing its own defense equipment, how well is it strengthening the country's vision of self-reliance?
See, you see today the ecosystem which has developed. There are more than 20,000 industries which are working. There are more than 400 academic institutes which are working. There are 15 centers of excellence which are working in academic institutes for the research. And all these things together with the industry participating right from design and development at DCPP, development cum production partner. There are more than about 20,000 industries, out of which about 2,000 industries, tier 1, tier 2 industries working together, and private sector getting a major boost, wherein private sector is developing most critical systems like missiles, bombs, guns, tanks, all these things private sector is developing along with the DPSU. It's a integrated environment where actually the academic institutes, the R&D organization, the DPSUs and private sector and SMEs at the next of as tier 2, tier 3, they're all integrated system which is growing as a collective system, inclusive development, what is happening in the country.
All right, sir. Definitely. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in on DD India News. DRDO Chairman Dr. Sameer V. Kamath has said that India's new hypersonic missile has completed 2 developmental trials and the third one planned soon. He said that this missile could be a game changer for the Indian armed forces.
We have carried out 2 development trials. We are pretty soon going to do a 3rd development trial. Once these development trials are over, we'll offer it to the user for user evaluation trials. And then this missile should get inducted. We are very confident with this system and it will be a game changer for our services.
Bihar is set to become part of India's expanding high-speed rail network after the Union Budget 2026-27 reaffirmed plans for a bullet train corridor passing through the state. Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnav said the train will run from Varanasi to Siliguri via Patna in Bihar, adding that this will be a game changer for Bihar.
वेस्ट बंगाल को बधाई हो कि आपके यहाँ पहली बुलेट ट्रेन आएगी सिलीगुड़ी के लिए। वाराणसी से सिलीगुड़ी वाया पटना ये ट्रेन बुलेट ट्रेन सिलीगुड़ी आएगी और भविष्य में ये बुलेट ट्रेन का कॉरिडोर टुवर्ड्स गुवाहाटी भी जाएगा। तो एक तरीके से नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स के लिए, बंगाल के लिए बहुत बड़ी खुशखबरी है, बुलेट ट्रेन वेस्ट बंगाल के लिए मिलेगी।
The minister was speaking at a press conference on the budgetary allocation for the railways, where he stated that Assam and the Northeast have been a key focus in this year's budget.
11,486 करोड़ रुपीस का बजट एलोकेट हुआ है। टोटल आसाम और नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स में 72,468 करोड़ रुपीस के रेलवे के प्रोजेक्ट्स चल रहे हैं। जो स्ट्रैटेजिक सेक्शन है करीब 40 किलोमीटर का, नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स को पूरे देश के साथ जोड़ने वाला जो हिस्सा है, उस हिस्से के लिए भी विशेष प्लानिंग की गई है। 4 लाइन्स और अंडरग्राउंड लाइन की भी प्लानिंग की गई है। अंडरग्राउंड लाइन्स की भी प्लानिंग की गई है। तो एक तरीके से नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स के लिए कनेक्टिविटी का टोटली नया एक आयाम बनेगा, नया।
Union Minister of State for Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh, on Monday said that India is set to launch a humanless Gaganyaan mission in the second half of 2026. He further said about the Union budget that the budget is futuristic and technology focused. Among many features, one of the major features, in fact, of the budget is 10,000 crore rupees Biopharma Shakti mission to develop India as a global biopharma manufacturing hub, saying biopharma is the future. The initiative will boost domestic production of biologics and biosimilars, create over 1,000 accredited clinical trial sites, strengthen regulatory capacity and expand pharma education through new and upgraded NIPA institutes.
I was dedicating exclusive policy for biotechnology, which includes many other things. And it is also open to the private sector through an interface called biotech. So this is just making the push. Now, if you recall, the Finance Minister also made a single sentence reference to the non-communicable disease. Now, on the one hand, you are going to create an economic hub by way of biomanufacturing, which is going to be the business trend or priority of the years to come. Like IT was yesterday, biotech is going to be tomorrow.
And still to come on this edition of DD India Newshour. Conservative candidate Laura Fernandez wins Costa Rica presidential election, promises a new era of politics. Snapchat blocks more than 400,000 Australian accounts for under 16s. Spain's PM Sanchez meets Lebanese President Oun in Madrid.
Take a front seat to witness the grandeur that
You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj, and let's have a quick recap of the headlines. Israel partially reopens Gaza's Rafah border crossing to Egypt as part of US President Trump's plan to end Gaza conflict. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian reportedly orders start of nuclear talks with United States after President Trump expresses hope of a deal to avoid military action. Japan says rare earth found in sediment retrieved on deep sea mission. Tokyo calls mission world's first bid to tap deep sea rare earths at such depths. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez met on Monday with Lebanese President Joseph Aoun at Madrid's Moncloa Palace. After the meeting, Lebanon's Foreign Minister Youssef Raji signed bilateral agreements with Spain's Foreign Minister Jose Manuel Albares and Spain's Culture Minister Ernest Urtasun. Spanish government said 3 agreements were signed aimed at strengthening bilateral ties, including collaboration between diplomatic schools, agricultural cooperation and links between the country's national libraries. The Kremlin has confirmed upcoming trilateral talks involving Russia, Ukraine and the United States in Abu Dhabi following a recent rescheduling. Originally slated for Sunday, the second round of U.S. brokered peace negotiations aimed at ending Russia-Ukraine's nearly 4-year conflict will now occur on February 4 and 5. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has announced, in fact, he had announced earlier the dates on Sunday, stating Kyiv's readiness for substantive discussions toward a real and dignified resolution. The talks build on initial meetings last month in the UAE, which were described as productive but yielded limited progress on territorial issues. Meanwhile, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen spoke with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky ahead of this week's peace talks. In a post on X, she wrote, and I quote, "I spoke with President Volodymyr Zelensky this afternoon ahead of this week's peace talks. Day after day, year after year, Europe's support for Ukraine remains unwavering. We are sending hundreds of generators to keep the heat and lights on. We have tabled a €90 billion loan proposal for the next 2 years. We are advancing toward a single unified prosperity framework with Ukraine and our US partners. And very soon, we will present our 20th package of sanctions." Unquote. Japan on Monday said they have retrieved sediment containing rare earth elements from depths of 6,000 meters during a recent deep-sea mission. The mission is part of Tokyo's efforts to curb dependence on China for these critical minerals, which are essential for high-tech industries. The retrieved sediment will undergo detailed analysis to determine the exact quantity of rare earths it contains. Officials described the operation as a significant step for both Japan's economic security and its broader maritime development initiatives. Snapchat on Monday has blocked 415,000 accounts belonging to user under 16 in Australia following the country's new social media legislation. The law, which came into effect on December 10 last year, requires platforms including Snapchat, Meta, TikTok and YouTube to prevent under 9.5 million, which is $34 million for non-compliance. Australia's e-safety regulator reported last month that tech giants had already blocked 4.7 million accounts nationwide, calling the move a significant outcome. In its statement, Snapchat urged authorities to require app stores to verify users' ages before allowing downloads, calling it an additional safeguard that would create a centralized verification system and higher barriers against circumvention. Former UK ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson, has quit the Labour Party after fresh US documents revived scrutiny over his links to late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. He has quit the Labour Party after newly released US Justice Department documents revived scrutiny over his links to Jeffrey Epstein. Mandelson said he was stepping down to avoid causing further embarrassment to the party while denying any recollection of alleged financial transfers and saying the claims need investigation. Costa Rica's President-elect Laura Fernandez has pledged what she calls profound and irreversible change in her first speech following her victory in Sunday's election. Fernandez, a political ally of outgoing President Rodrigo Chavez, has outlined plans for a tough crackdown on drug trafficking and sweeping reforms to state institutions. However, her opponents have raised concerns, accusing her of steering the country toward authoritarianism through the expansion of executive power. In Venezuela, the political prisoners who were released early on Sunday joined relatives of those still behind bars today at a vigil outside El Heliode, in fact, country's most important detention centers. The political prisoners also included human rights activist Javier Tarazona, who joined them at a vigil outside detention center. Over 30 political prisoners were released in Venezuela on Sunday. The gathering was aimed at offering moral support to families awaiting the release of loved ones. The move comes as interim President Delcy Rodriguez faces mounting pressure from Washington to accelerate prisoner releases. China has criticized the awarding of a Grammy to the Dalai Lama, accusing cultural honors of being used for political purposes. The honor was announced at the 68th Grammy Awards in Los Angeles. The reaction from Beijing comes despite the Dalai Lama's long-standing advocacy of non-violence and dialogue, for which he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, even as China continues to brand him a separatist.
As is widely known, the 14th Dalai Lama is not a purely religious figure, but a political exile who uses religion as a guise to engage in anti-China separatist activism. We firmly oppose the use of art awards as a tool for anti-China political manipulation, and this position is constant and clear.
Meanwhile, members of the exiled Tibetan community in India's Dharamshala celebrated after the Dalai Lama was awarded a Grammy for his spoken word album, Meditations, the Reflections of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. The album features the Tibetan spiritual leader's reflections set to Indian classical music, created in collaboration with Sarod maestro Amjad Ali Khan and his sons.
This is historic. It's a matter of great joy, and great joy not only for the Tibetan people but for the whole humanity, because I think His Holiness' message of love, compassion, empathy, and taking responsibilities of one another.
Patrick Amini, the President of Seychelles, will be visiting India from 5th to 10th of February at the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This will be President Amini's first visit to India since assuming office last October. The visit coincides with the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic ties between the two countries. Amini will meet President Draupadi Murmu and hold discussions with PM Modi on bilateral, regional and international issues of mutual interest. Amini will also visit Chennai and Mumbai, where he would be attending business events. The Union Budget has laid out a transformative roadmap for India's education and skills ecosystem with a strong focus on boosting the orange economy and creative industries.
Presenting the Union Budget, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman highlighted the rapid growth of India's AVGC sector, which is expected to need nearly 2 million professionals by 2030. To support this, the centre has proposed help for the Indian Institute of Creative Technologies, Mumbai, to set up AVGC labs in 15,000 schools and 500 colleges nationwide.
Orange economy. India's animation, visual effects, gaming and comics sector, AVGC sector, is a growing industry projected to require 2 million professionals by 2030. I propose to support the Indian Institute of Creative Technologies, Mumbai, in setting up AVGC content creator labs in 15,000 secondary schools all over the country and 500 colleges. I propose to establish to boost design education and development in the eastern region of India.
IICT, Indian Institute of Creative Technologies, जो IIT, IIM, एम्स की तर्ज पे बन रही है, उसको स्थापित किया पहला कैंपस मुंबई में। तो अब IICT को जोड़ा जाएगा 15,000 हाई स्कूल्स के साथ और 500 कॉलेजेस के साथ, मेटी में, IT में और GCC में और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में मिला के करीब 1 करोड़ का एम्प्लॉयमेंट है।
The initiative aims to equip students with industry-relevant creative skills and open up new-age career opportunities. Vishwas Deoskar, IICT CEO, while speaking to DD India, said the decision to set up AVGC content creator labs in 15,000 secondary schools and 500 colleges would be a landmark move for India's creative economy.
IICT has been pronounced in the finance minister's budget. It's a loud one. With 15,000 schools, labs to be opened up in 15,000 schools across India and 500 universities across India is definitely an excellent way to go. And if you ask me, I'm looking at it like a project, which is
GCXR sector and co-founder of Graffiti Studios said the announcement reflects the government's long-term vision to strengthen the orange economy.
I think this is a remarkable budget for the orange economy, and I think the creators will truly rejoice today after the budget. And in particular for the AVGC XR sector, this is, there's some fantastic announcements that we've heard.
The move is seen as a major step towards building a future-ready workforce, strengthening India's creative economy and linking education directly with employment in fast-growing digital sectors.
By backing AVGC labs across schools and colleges, the budget clearly aims to link creativity with employment opportunities and aims to prepare a new generation of creators for the fast-growing digital industry. With camera person Aditya Kasare, this is...
And still to come on DD Newshour. World Wetlands Day 2026 observed in New Delhi. Update on gold and silver prices as the prices fall on Monday. You're watching DD Newshour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj, and in a powerful expression of India's civilizational legacy and cultural diplomacy, the sacred Devnimori relics of Lord Buddha will travel to Sri Lanka for public exposition from February 4th to 11th. The holy relics, currently preserved at the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda in Vadodara, will arrive in Colombo with full state honours aboard a special Indian Air Force aircraft. A high-level Indian delegation led by Gujarat Governor Acharya Devvrat and Deputy Chief Minister Harsh Sanghvi, along with senior Buddhist monks and officials, will accompany the relics. The relics will be enshrined for public veneration at the revered Gangaramaya Temple in Colombo, one of Sri Lanka's most iconic Buddhist institutions. Bangladesh's election campaign intensified on Monday as Bangladesh Nationalist Party and Jamaat-e-Islami exchanged strong criticism, while rights groups warned that mob violence could undermine the February 12 polls. BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul accused Jamaat-e-Islami of wanting to turn the country into Afghanistan and push Bangladesh backwards. BNP chairperson Tariq Rahman echoed the criticism, describing comments by a political party on confining women to homes as shameful. Meanwhile, Jamaat-e-Islami Amir Shafiqur Rahman rejected BNP's criticism, who said people would show a BNP a red card in the election. With days left before polling, the campaign remains sharply polarized, raising concerns about election integrity and public order. Abu Dhabi Indian School, one of UAE's oldest Indian educational institutions, has launched its Golden Jubilee celebrations, marking 50 years of academic excellence. The year-long celebrations were inaugurated at the campus by Sheikh Nayan bin Mubarak Al Nayan in the presence of school chairman Yusuf Ali M.A., along with dignitaries, parents, alumni and students. Congratulating the institution, Sheikh Nayan highlighted the UAE's strong focus on education and youth development under the leadership of Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, while praising the school's leadership for 5 decades of commitment. Founded in 1975 with just 59 students, Abu Dhabi Indian School now educates nearly 5,000 students annually and boasts a global alumni network. The school also recalled the support of the late Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, who donated land for the institution, cementing its place as a symbol of enduring India-UAE ties.
Our nation has always stressed education and human development as the foundation for sustained progress and prosperity. His Highness the President, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, takes a deep interest in our educational system, and the advancement of our youth. His Highness continues to stress the conviction that our future and our active participation in global developments require that we plan and implement our programs in education and training with quality.
Abu Dhabi Indian School is a testimony to the historical relationship and strong friendship between India and United Arab Emirates. Indian community in Abu Dhabi will always be grateful to late Al-Arhama, Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, father of this great nation, for donating the land for constructing this beautiful school. We remember with gratitude the sincere efforts of my very dear brother, Mr. Mohan Jashmahal, the first chairman of our school in this initiative.
World Wetlands Day 2026 was marked at Delhi's Prasar Bharati Wildlife Sanctuary, highlighting the deep connection between wetlands, culture and community knowledge. With this year's theme focusing on traditional practices, the event underscored India's expanding Ramsar network and renewed commitment to conserving these vital ecosystems. Here's a report.
India's Environment, Forest and Climate Change Ministry marked the World Wetlands Day 2026 at the Prasar Bharati Wildlife Sanctuary in New Delhi, highlighting the vital link between wetlands, culture and community knowledge. The theme this year, Wetlands and Traditional Knowledge, Celebrating Cultural Heritage, underscored the role of indigenous practices in conserving these fragile ecosystems. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India's Ramsar network has grown significantly from 26 sites in 2014 to 98 today, reflecting the country's strong commitment to wetland conservation. Minister of State for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Kirtivardhan Singh, emphasized the ecological and cultural importance of the Parvati Arga Bird Sanctuary in Uttar Pradesh, a globally recognized Ramsar site.
मुझे खुशी है कहते हुए कि आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में जहां पहले केवल 26 हमारे यहाँ रामसर साइट्स थे, आज 98 रामसर साइट्स हो गए हैं। ये दिखाता है, दर्शाता है हम लोगों के सरकार की जो पर्यावरण को बचाने के लिए, पर्यावरण का संरक्षण करने के लिए, एनवायरनमेंट का संरक्षण करने के लिए, उसके लिए जो हम लोगों का कमिटमेंट है।
The minister noted that wetlands support rich biodiversity, sustain livelihoods and remain deeply rooted in local traditions, calling them the lifeline of nature and urging renewed conservation efforts.
एनवायरनमेंट, पर्यावरण हमारे समाज के लिए बहुत ही जो इसका उपयोगिता है और जो इसका महत्व है, इसको लेकर हर जगह हम लोग इसकी बात उठा रहे हैं। और आज ये जो यहाँ पे जो फंक्शन था, वर्ल्ड वेटलैंड डे हम लोग सेलिब्रेट कर रहे थे और आज यहाँ पे स्कूल के बच्चे भी थे, उनको भी प्रेरणा मिलती है कि किस तरह आगे अपने जीवन में इस देश के कंधार बनेंगे।
The event also featured an exhibition on wetlands and biodiversity, felicitation of states for new Ramsar sites, and the release of the document Cultural Wonders of Ramsar Sites.
आज की सरकार, देश के प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के अगुवाई के अंदर जब से सरकार ये बनी है, तब से सबसे बड़ा पर्यावरण के अंदर बदलाव आना शुरू हुआ है। जो हमारी अटूट रिश्ता था, वो टूटता हुआ जा रहा था, उसको वापस स्थिर किया गया है और जहां पेड़ पंछियों को बचाया गया है, वहीं जल स्रोत को भी बचाया गया है।
The program concluded with community interactions and a plantation drive under Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam.
With renewed focus on conservation and community participation, World Wetlands Day 2026 reaffirmed India's commitment to protecting its wetlands and cultural heritage. With Campus Energy, this is Taposh Bhattacharya from Prasar Bharati Wildlife Sanctuary, Delhi.
Gold and silver futures extended losses on Monday as profit-taking intensified following last month's record rally. Precious metals came under sharp selling pressure amid weak domestic and global market sentiment. On the multi-commodity exchange, precious metals hit lower circuits. Silver slumped as much as 12%, while gold fell nearly 9%. 24-carat gold on MCX dropped to 1,36,185 per 10 grams, Meanwhile, M6 silver futures plunged to settle at 2,65,652 per kilogram. A firmer US dollar and shifting expectations around the US Federal Reserve weighed on bullion prices despite recent highs. You're watching DD News. Time now for some sports news. And the Junior Olympic 2026, a competitive sporting platform for school students, has officially begun in Delhi. Hosted at Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium, the tournament features participation from over 6,000 school students from across the Delhi NCR region. Now in its 9th edition, the Junior Olympics showcases young athletes competing in sports such as cricket, football, tug of war, basketball and athletics. The event will continue until February 7th. The growing participation each year highlights the rising enthusiasm for sports among children and reflects a promising future for Indian sports.
I'm very happy. I'm very excited to be here at Junior Olympics. It's very nice to see 6,000 students who are participating in this great grand event, even though it's so cold and it's a digital age, mind you. Most of the students, they are not keen in actually coming out on the grounds. But this shows that the program is well organized, well advertised, and program is going to give some kind of a solid results at the end of the day.
Great opportunity for them to do some physical, come in the physical sports, and sport is going to be a career opportunity for them also. So in this young age, if they are interested, we create interest in them in the sports. It's going to be make them more disciplined and more determined, and to grow with a sense of some achievement in their future.
New Delhi is all set to become the center of Asian shooting as the Asian Rifle and Pistol Shooting Championships 2026 is set to kick off at Dr. Karni Singh Shooting Range. The two-week continental event features 311 shooters from 20 Asian nations, bringing together some of the best talents in rifle and pistol shooting. A report by DD India correspondent Narayan Singh.
Asia's finest shooting stars are converged in the national capital as the Asian Rifle and Pistol Shooting Championship 2026 set to kick off at the iconic Dr. Karni Singh Shooting Range in New Delhi. The prestigious Continental Championship will run for 2 weeks, bringing together 311 elite athletes from 20 Asian countries, making it one of the biggest shooting events hosted by India in recent years. Indian shooters, supported by a strong coaching setup and home conditions, are hopeful of a strong medal haul, with expectations high from both senior stars and young emerging talents at this continental showpiece.
Very well prepared. Right now, Karni Singh Shooting Range is like one of the best range in the world. System of the target is already upgraded, the best one what is available. So all the ranges 10 meter, 50 meter and 25 meter range are equipped with the latest electronic target system. So this is a big development happened last year. So we are very happy, and overall preparation done by the Federation and the Sports Authority of India to host the Asian, it's really commendable.
For us right now, I would like to say that it's a very good opportunity for the Indian shooters, as it's in our home range and we are shooting here. Like the Asian Rifle Pistol Championship is being conducted very nicely from by our federation, and we are very much confident because this range, we know a lot about this range, and like how we need to shoot and how we need to plan our strategies. So I think it's a very much good plus point for us.
Shooters will compete across men's, women's, junior and youth categories in 10 meter, 25 meter and 50 meter rifle and pistol events. The championships will feature individual, team and mixed team formats, offering a complete showcase of technical excellence, precision and mental strength.
Preparations काफ़ी बढ़िया चल रही है. It's been like from last 15 days we are training in Delhi, and काफ़ी अच्छा वेदर है, काफ़ी अच्छी रेंज को प्रिपेयर किया है इस चैंपियनशिप के लिए, और इंडिया टीम काफ़ी अच्छी तरीके से तैयार है इस कंपटीशन के लिए.
With top Asian nations in action and Olympic standard competition on display, the championship is said to be a celebration of skill, discipline and sporting excellence, reaffirming India's growing stature as a global hub for international shooting events. Narayan Singh's report, DD India, New Delhi.
That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.